Four to go.
Oh, I should ask Dan if we were ready. I'll do that again. Calling the July 27th meeting of the High Point Board of Education to order. Flag salute, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll read our Open Public Meetings Act statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the Augusta, Branchville, and Sussex post offices, and notice sent to the New Jersey Herald, the Advertiser North and South, and the clerk of the boroughs of Branchville and Sussex and the townships of Frankfort, Lafayette, and Wantage. Mission statement. High Point Regional High School, in partnership with staff, family, and community, is dedicated to the quest for individual excellence. By fostering high standards of achievement, we prepare students to become responsible and productive members of a diverse society. I'm going to turn over to Ms. Allison to administer an oath of office to our newest board member.
Hi. Elizabeth Schuman, would you please raise your right hand? Repeat after me. I, Elizabeth Schuman,
I, Elizabeth Schuman,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States,
and to the governments established in the United States,
this state,
the state.
under the authority of the people,
I'm sorry, what was that?
under the authority of people,
For the authority of the people,
so help me God.
help me God.
I, Elizabeth Schuman,
I, Elizabeth Schuman,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education,
prescribed by law for the office of member of the Board of Education,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all duties
and justly perform all duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
Help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Welcome officially.
Yes.
Thank you, Wayne.
May I have a roll call then, please?
Yes. All right. Ms. Nugent? Here. Ms. Schuman?
Here.
Would you prefer Ms. or Mrs.?
Mrs. is fine.
Ms. Smith? Here. Ms. Tadona?
Here.
Mr. Dunn?
Here.
Mr. Klein?
Present.
Mr. Broswell is expected later. Mr. Arnold is out, and Ms. Anderson, we do have a quorum. We also have Dr. Ripley and myself and Mrs. Wojciechowski.
Okay, we have a quorum. A motion will be made that the High Point Regional High School Board of Education enter executive session to provide an update on superintendent's evaluation, negotiations, legal and personnel items which are exempt from public participation pursuant to New Jersey Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Open Public Meetings Act. Any discussions held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public when appropriate. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session virtually and in person at the conclusion of the executive session. It is not anticipated that any action will take place. May I have a motion?
Motion.
And second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are now in executive session and expect to return at 7 p.m. Correct?
Yes.
Because we were just a little confused.
Okay. Ms. Schuman, you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. May I have a motion to return to public session, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now back in public session. Proceed to unfinished business, which we have none. So next is approval of minutes. Second.
Okay. The minutes for the regular minutes on June 29th, we went through some personnel. There was the vote to hire a new supervisor of pupil personnel services. There were some contracts that were approved. There was professional development. There were the summer positions. There were some coaching positions. There was 2 policies and the general monthly items that we normally go through. The executive session it covered negotiations and legal matters, which we cannot disclose because they are still pending.
Can we motion to accept minutes for both the regular and executive session then?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion otherwise? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, next item is public hearing on the superintendent's contract. So there's no action item under this. We are statutorily required to place this on the agenda, and we do have a public comment session soon to follow. Our intention is to begin negotiations with our superintendent for his contract, which is expiring at the end of this current fiscal year, correct? June 30th of 2022. And our intention is to begin those negotiations over this summer while we have some free time. So for the negotiations committee, we'll be adding that to our task list. Is there anything else we need to cover on that? Statutorily wise or otherwise?
No, sir.
Okay. So next up then is the public comments on agenda items only. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, we will open the public comments. At this time, each speaker should state his or her name and address. You will have 3 minutes to address the board, which will be timed by myself. We will limit this section to no longer than 45 minutes. Please be respectful and mindful that your comments are being recorded. We've usually asked for a motion to do this.
Motion.
Second.
Session, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll open for public comments now. And I believe we can accept public comments here in person at the podium or virtually. If there's anybody attending virtually that wants to make a public comment, I believe they raise their virtual hand. We'll recognize you.
It sent us messages to.
We do have one person here.
It's exciting.
Okay. It's Kathleen Gordon.
Hello?
Ms. Gorman, you have the floor.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you could hear me. I just have a quick question. I understand from a township meeting I was attending last evening that High Point has taken back the shared service contracts we have for the fields up at Woodbourne Park? Is that true?
Mrs. Gorman, there are discussions that are ongoing that we are not able to make public at present.
So that's not a done deal?
I will stand by my statement.
I'm sorry, but I'm not understanding what you said, so that's why I'm asking it again in a different way. I'm sorry.
There are discussions that are ongoing that we are not able to make public at present.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Does that all your comments?
Yes, for now, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else, virtually or otherwise? Okay. Have a motion to close public comment.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public comments now closed. So we'll proceed to presentations. I don't believe we have a student council report to be had, and I believe we had received notification that our HPA president will not be present to make any comments this evening. So next up is principal's report in athletics, Mr. Allen.
Good evening, everybody. I had to slide over so that sit right in front of Mr. Schuman. Mr. Schuman, welcome to the board. You're not. But here we are live, and I hope everybody's having a good summer so far. Very brief report this evening, which I know everybody enjoys. Just wanted to say thank you to the High Point board and our staff for a very successful graduation ceremony, which seems like it was a distant memory, but it was a good memory overall. We got to see the community come together, and that was really a blessing for us all to be part of in different capacities as parents, as board members, as a staff members. Thank you to that, and also thank you try to get some students where they need to be moving into next year as well. So those are things that we're very appreciative. And it truly was really a team effort all the way around, and those different ventures that we had. Now we turn the page, right? We're looking forward towards next year. And I just want to say thank you to our IT staff. One of them, Mr. Yardley, happens to be here. Our administrative secretary, our custodial maintenance support staff, who do so much amount of work. And see, when you walk through the halls, it looks a lot different now. I still put up this facility, even though it is older and some parts of the building than the other parts of the building, against any other facility in the county and in the state. The facility is immaculate. That's beautiful. A lot of preparation goes into it in the summertime, and it's a lot of the support staff that does that. So we're all getting ready for turning the page, getting ready for September. Obviously, we're going to follow the guidance that comes out. Most recent guidance came out in June, and we're waiting for more information to follow. But that's where we are right now. We're eagerly preparing for September and kickoff for that. The staff, student, and parent communications are going to be going through Genesis. One of the, if this is an oxymoron, probably is, the positive of COVID was that communication got more centralized. And one of the things we've been pushing for a long period of time has been Genesis for ourselves, myself included, but also for our parents and our community. We have digital forms and all things that get filled out, or just regular communication. That happened a lot over the last 18 months. So that has been a positive benefit, has had a very negative situation. That will continue to be our nexus of communication. Student schedule will be released August 2nd, which is next Monday. Then I'll have a chance to work on some schedule changes if they need to, based on what their schedule allotment is overall. We'll work that with the guidance department. So sent that out as well. We're excited about planning for that. Obviously, our focusing for the opening days is focus of support and transition. And that is a broad bridge, right? And obviously SEL is a huge component of that. But there's a lot of things that go into that, right? It's not just a phrase that we throw around. Support of individuals, students, and staff members and students, because they all have different bridges to get there. We could have half of the student body that has not been in the building at all, right? For our freshmen coming in, plus the students that may have been virtual last year, and we have a transition to prepare for. So it's hard to prepare for sometimes the unknown, and those that are in education know what that means. But that's where we are. We'll continue to plan for that. We'll do the best that we can to make sure that we adapt and change along the way as we go. One of the goals we're trying to focus on doing, as long as we're able to do a lot of the things, is celebrating being back together. Celebrating the fact that we as a staff and we as a student body, we as a community are back together, much the same feeling that we had at graduation. So that just is a feel-good thing. I know sometimes it's hard to put a curriculum or a content part of that, but that feel-good thing goes a long way and setting us up for the rest of the success of the school year. And our focus is being intentional for not just the opening days, but to continue that throughout the school year. So it's not something that's a one and done mentality, it's something we're going to continue to build on. The 1st of September is the in-service, the 2nd is freshman orientation, which will be a little bit different, we're still tweaking that a little bit as well. And the 3rd is all systems to go, ready to rock, get it done on Friday, we start for all students and all staff on that day. All right? Any questions about any of that information? Appreciate your time. Okay, thank you.
The administrators and Mr. Talame are working diligently to ensure that the kids who have missed out so much and the staff have the best possible openings so that we can hopefully return back to some level of normalcy that we once enjoyed for both our staff and our students. And they've been working very hard. And I got a barrage of emails from Mr. Talame this afternoon and early this evening regarding these very things. So I know that he and the administrators are working hard to make sure that we have as perfect an opening as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Tomlin.
Well,
We do not have Mr. Campbell here for curriculum instruction. I would, so, maybe
He's
add
probably
earlier,
watching.
he is definitely.
We miss him.
I was curious if we could give some, an update on the summer,
Yeah,
Programs?
would you like to?
sure. So, the Summer Academy.
yes, summer academy.
Yeah, Summer Academy, so I won't get all the details of that, but we had over 30 students that successfully completed multiple courses throughout that part of it, and that could be one course for some of them, 3 courses for some of them. We had several seniors, they were able to complete their graduation requirements throughout the Summer Academy, so we're very happy with that. We had some seniors that were able to get one step closer to filling their graduation requirements before the end of the summer with the Summer Academy. So truly, again, an all hands on deck team effort. Mr. Campbell obviously led that charge, but it was everybody from Ashley's workers to custodians adjusting their schedule, to the school workers adjusting their schedules, to the IT team, to the secretarial staff, to security, Mr. Rice standing behind me, and many people in between. So truly a team effort, and hopeful that is a positive change, that those students see a difference going into their schedule next year. Of course, we wanted to have much more students involved, and that's always the case, but something to build on and build for the future. And the students, it was interesting, it's kind of like a sample of what we think we're going to see in September. Like some students weren't in the building for 14 months, and they came off the bus the first day, it's the first time they were in the building. So that first week was very quiet, and they were trying to get to know each other. We had a lot of SEL components that were built in as well. We really saw what that would look like in September, and gave us some ideas and areas that we can also be better at and work on too as well. So that was good. And by the end of the time period, those same students were coming along socially and engaging and having more of an interaction with each other, with us. So that was a good thing to see as well. And to see them kind of come to their own a little bit, whether it be over 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on how long they be there. Okay?
It really was a wild success, and everybody was involved, and to be able to have that, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know until they show up. So you could put all this time and planning into, and 3 kids show up, and you're like, well, guess that didn't work. But you made the effort, right? You put it out there, and kids took advantage of it, and I believe that it had a profound impact on our students and our community that we're extremely proud and pleased of.
Is it the true statement that the attendance did not tail off towards the end? That.
Some waiver, we're not as they should be, but they got back in the boat. And that's important. Conversations are always about, hey, we gotta get back in enrollment here. We're here, right? Your teachers are here. Everybody else is here. You gotta be here. And of course, there's circumstances that come up.
Yeah.
When you look at a window of 4 weeks, in terms of spread out, there's all kinds of things that happen ahead of time. Even though we communicated as much as we can with it. So the good part about that was they were able to quickly catch up and make up the work they needed to if they were not there. In that last couple of days. But again, especially for our seniors, getting them to the end is really, really important. And getting everybody else to keep them where they need to be next year.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, there is no other business, so we'll proceed right to action items. So first up is curriculum instruction and technology.
So we have action items A, 1, 2, and 3 is just noting the faculty attendance rate for June, 96.4%. The student attendance rate for June was not recorded, and the suspension report for June was copied, it was attached. So I'll move items 4, 5, and 6 together. Number 4, it is recommended by the superintendent, board approve the HIB report for the period of June 29th through July 27th. Number 5, is recommended we approve the curricular field trips as listed in the attachment. And number 6, recommended that we approve the professional development activities as listed in the attachment. Make a motion seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Ms. Schuman?
I have not seen these documents, so I think that I need to abstain from the vote.
Okay. Mr. Corrado?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Yes.
Okay, next is personnel. Ms. Nugent?
I'd like to move items 1 through 3 together. Items 1 is approving substitute teachers for the 2021-2022 school year, Patrice Norrell and Chloe Kemp. Item 2 is to approve Ms. Jamie accounts payable clerk, 20 hours a week. And number 3 is to approve the revised 2020-2021 contract for Melissa Hensley, paraprofessional aide, which includes highly qualified status. Seeking, making a motion, seeking a second. Second. Roll call. Oh, discussion, rather.
Is that a, number 3, since it was retroactive, is that correct, the 2021 school year?
Yes, there was
correct?
an error, and we had it properly in 1920, then an error in her contract for 2021 because she was highly qualified.
Okay,
Therefore, we needed to amend the contract so as to provide her with the contractual $250.
excellent, thank you.
21-22 is correct.
Mr. Corrado?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Okay, item 4, it is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education accepts with regret the resignation of Mr. James Delaney as health and phys ed teacher, as well as head football coach and weight room advisor, effective immediately. Making a motion, seeking a second.
Second.
Discussion.
I would just say that I think losing Coach Delaney it's a blow to the community. I had some experience with Coach when I was coaching the Ninja program. He was very supportive, always willing to lend a hand, and I had the opportunity to watch him coach multiple teams over the last 10 years, and he did it right. He held his kids accountable. He taught them the right way, not only the sport, but other things, other life lessons that are important that you pick up while you participate in sports. And he was a class act. He was a very good coach. And really, I think 10 years plus of kids will bear that out. So I know he moved down to Georgia. I wish him nothing but the best of luck, and he will be missed.
He will be missed. He did a phenomenal job, and he did exactly as you said. We had spoken once about winning and losing, and I had said to him that, look, our job is not W's and L's, it's about making men. And he understood that, and that is the essence of athletics in high school. And we're trying to inspire young men and young women to become the best they can be. And as we've all experienced in our lives, sports play a role in that. And he did a phenomenal job. Our loss will be somebody else's gain. However, I'm exceedingly excited about the opportunities moving forward with what will be on the agenda this evening. Congratulations and good luck to you, Mr. Delaney.
Mrs. Schuman?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The vote for accepting the resignation of.
Yes, I must have not heard there, sorry. Yes,
That's the fun of the virtual world.
I know.
Mr. Carazo?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'd like to move number 5. It is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves Mr. Austin Caldwell as health and physical education teacher for the 2021-2022 school year, pending receipt of all required certifications and paperwork. Making a motion, seeking a second.
Second.
Discussion.
This, as we spoke in personnel, was an unanticipated circumstance. And to lose a gentleman such as Mr. Delaney was a concern. And through the process, someone emerged that I did not anticipate. And the young man who I'm recommending this evening is someone who impressed me significantly in the interview process. And I say that not as a perfunctory statement, but as someone who truly impressed me. And I am not generally overly impressed, and I don't mean that people aren't fabulous, but this young man truly impressed me significantly, and I am absolutely honored to be able to make this recommendation, because I think that this individual will be a seminal part of our success as a community, an institution, and as an athletic team for the hopefully long future.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Carazo?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes,
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations, Mr. Caldwell.
Congratulations.
You know what? Address the board. What you may if you're so inclined.
Just appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for being behind my support for the program. I'm not Jim, product of Jim Delaney. Emotional thing for me, Jim, because it's like a father figure. But I will have his support.
Welcome, my point.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, I'd like to move number 6. It is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approve summer workshop days at the workshop for hourly rate for the staff members as listed below. Quite a long list. Making a motion, seeking a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Carazo?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs.
yes,
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Carazo, could I ask you to handle extracurricular?
Be my honor. I'm gonna move items 1 through 4. Item 1, board approved the Orthopedic Institute of New Jersey to provide on-field physician coverage free of charge for all varsity home football games for the upcoming football season. Item 2, the board approved Mr. William Percy as the summer weight room advisor for the 21-22 school year. On the salary guide is listed. Number 3, that the board approve Mr. Austin Caldwell as the winter weight room advisor for the 21-22 school year. The salary guide is listed, and as well the spring weight room advisor, also under the salary guide is listed. And item number 4, that the board approve Miss Marina Morris as the fall cheerleading coach under the salary guide is listed. I make a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
I apologize, with regards to item number 4, I apologize, I missed that. Approve Miss Marina Morris not only for fall cheerleading, but winter cheerleading coach, under the salary guide listed for both. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Sedona,
Yes.
Mr. Klein,
Yes.
Ms. Nugent,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman,
Yes.
Mr. Caraza,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
all motions carried.
Item number 5, it is recommended that the board approve Mr. Austin Caldwell as the head football coach for the 2021-22 school year, under the salary guide as listed. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I went backwards clearly, spoke about football first. Speak about the fact that in our interview, he demonstrated that he is a passionate educator who will be exceptional for all our students in physical education, health education, possibly in driver education as well. So I think we have a strong educator that we're putting in place that will benefit us for years to come.
I'm excited for Coach Caldwell to join us. I had the opportunity to watch him play when he was a student here. He played the game as you're supposed to play it. He was playing with hustle and heart. I've talked to several of the current players who are extremely excited that you'll be taking over for Coach Delaney. So I think it's a tremendous addition. And again, I wish you the best of luck. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Klein,
Yes.
Ms. Nugent,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Sedona,
Yes.
Mr. Caraza,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
motion carries.
Last but not least, item number 6 is recommended the board approve Mr. Brad Wilbur as an assistant football coach for the 21-22 school year, according to the salary guide as listed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman,
Yes.
Ms. Nugent,
Yes.
Mr. Klein,
Yes.
Ms. Sedona,
Yes.
Mr. Caraza,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
motion carries.
Next up is policy. Back to
I'd like to move items number 1 through 4 together. Number 1, it is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves the first reading of the following policy and regulation. The Bridge Year Pilot Program, the policy and regulation 5460.02. Item number 2, it is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves the second reading of the following new policies. Policy number 3421.13, postnatal accommodations. Policy 4421.13, postnatal accommodations. Item 3 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approve and abolish the following policy and regulation. Policy 1649, Federal Families First, Coronavirus COVID-19 Response Act, Regulation 2421, Vocational Technical Education. And item number 4 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves the following revised policies and regulations. Policy 0131, bylaws, policies, and regulations. Policy 2421, career technical education. Policy 3134, assignment of extra duties. Policy 3142, non-renewal of non-tenured teaching staff member. Regulation 3142, non-renewal of non-tenured teaching staff member. Policy 3221, evaluation of teachers. Regulation 3221, evaluation of teachers. Policy and regulation 3222, evaluation of teaching staff members, excluding teachers and administrators. Policy and regulation 3223, evaluation of administrators, excluding principals, vice principals, and assistant principals. Policy and regulation 3224, evaluation of principals, vice principals, and assistant principals. Policy and regulation 4146, non-renewal of non-tenured support staff member. Making a motion, seeking a second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Are these, I just do have a question. Are these policies that all of you have read? Because I have not seen them.
So one of the things is, unfortunately, prior to being sworn in, we couldn't share the attachments with you.
Okay,
Subsequent to your swearing in, we did share them with you, so they are there. But this will not happen again in the future. You will have access to them if you're, the committee has access to them the week before. The rest of the board has access to them on the Friday before the board meeting. And unfortunately, we couldn't get you into yours until 6:15 today.
that's understandable, and thanks for explaining. Okay, so I'll be abstaining from this vote.
And also, you explained like too, and read through too, but it's mostly just things that got updated in general. It wasn't like there was a new.
Right, so when we do go into deep discussion over, say, a new policy that may be either controversial or substantive, or not substantive, but relevant topically to an issue, oftentimes we get policy alerts that require us to revise existing policies, and those revisions are mandated by law. And so what happens is, when the legislator changes a code or that they update it, we have to update the policy to reflect the same language. So it's generally just changing words from, say, pupil to student, or from guardian to parent. And in this instance, in this particular policy alert, that's what we're looking at here.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
I know you said you're abstaining, but Mrs. Schuman?
Abstain.
Thank you. Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Yes. Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Before I forget, Mr. Schuman, I will speak with you about committee assignments. I'll either give you a call or by email, so that you are placed where you can help us the most on our committees. We're a board of committees. So then proceeding to negotiations, we have no negotiation action items. We also have no buildings and grounds action items, so we'll proceed to finance. So I would like to move items 1 through 9 together. Item 1 is a recommendation to accept the report of the board secretary, business administrator for the month of June 2021. Item 2 is a recommendation to accept the report of the treasurer for the month of June 2021. Item 3 is a recommendation to approve the report of transfers and minimum expense transfer report for the month of June 2021. Item 4 is a recommendation to approve repayment, the attached schedule of audited bills dated July 27, 2021. Item 5 is a recommendation to accept the adult education agency account, athletic account, cafeteria account, principal petty cash account, scholarship account, school store account, and the student activities account for the month of June 2021. Item 6 is a recommendation to approve an agreement with the New Jersey Center for Teaching and Learning to provide temporary instructional services for physical science from September 3rd through November 24th, 2021, for $25,684. Item 7 is a recommendation to approve Sussex County Ed Services Commission to provide speech supervision services as required per the attached proposal. Item 8 is a recommendation to retroactively approve the June 30th, 2021 transfer of $708.52 from the general fund to student activity funds to make the following activity counts to rectify negative balances as listed. And item 9 is a recommendation to approve the disposal of STEM items that did not sell on GovDeals and outdated and obsolete Chrome charts. I make that motion, seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion on any of those items 1 through 9? Seeing no discussion, can I have a roll call on this?
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
All motions carried.
Okay, I will move item 10 as a recommendation to approve the updated guide for standard operating procedures and internal controls dated July 20th, 2021. Making a motion, seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion on item 10? Yes, ma'am?
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And final item in finance, number 11, is a recommendation to approve and authorize the change order to reroute the 12-inch Schedule 40 PVC storm sewer so the underground fuel storage tank project may resume. The cost of the change order is $20,204.32 and is covered in the contingencies of the contract with Aurora Environmental. Make that motion, seeking second.
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
I would just like to bring up that our supervisor of buildings and grounds has demonstrated his worth once again in a situation where we would have otherwise paid considerably more. And in conjunction with our business administrator, Ms. Palasek, they saved the board a considerable amount of money because they were assertive and in advocating for what they knew to be right.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is transportation. I'll turn this to Mr. Caraza to cover us through the next 15 pages of the agenda.
I would like to move items 1 through 13 all together. Item 1 is a recommendation to approve and authorize the renewal contract for the 21-22 school year with Havens Bus Service as listed. Number 2 is a recommendation to approve and authorize the renewal contract for the 21-22 school year with Kraft School Bus Incorporated as listed. Item 3 is to approve and authorize the renewal contract for the 21-22 school year with D.W. Clark and Sons as listed. Item 4 is a recommendation to approve and authorize the renewal contract for the 21-22 school year with Stocker Bus Company as listed. Number 5 is a recommendation to approve and authorize the parental contract with the listed student for the 21-22 school year. Item 6 is a recommendation to approve and authorize the joint transportation agreement with the listed student for the 21-22 school year. Item 7 is a recommendation to approve and authorize the joint transportation agreement for transportation of students to and from school for the 21-22 school year as listed. Item number 8 is a recommendation that the board approve the joint transportation agreement for routes listed for the 21-22 school year. Item 9 is a recommendation that the board approve the joint transportation agreement for Sussex Wantage for school-related activities for the 21-22 school year as listed. Item 10 is that the board approve and authorize the renewal contracts for transportation of students to and from school-related activity trips for the 21-22 school year as listed. Item number 11, recommended the board approve and authorize renewal contracts transportation of school-related athletic trips with Kraft School Bus for the 21-22 school year as listed. And that's several pages of being listed.
28, page 28, here we go.
There we go. Item number 12, that the board approve and authorize the renewal contract for transportation of students to athletic trips with Stocker Bus Company for the 21-22 school year as listed. Item 13, the board approve and authorize a renewal contract for transportation of school-related athletic and activity trips for the 21-22 school year as listed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that litany of transportation contract? Seeing none, roll call please.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
All motions carried.
And last but not least, item 14 is recommended to include Newton Urgent Care as the CDL Drug and Alcohol Testing Facility from July 21 through June 22. High Point will be part of a consortium with other Sussex County districts in order to share costs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Where did it used to be? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. It's okay, it's all good.
Listen, I couldn't even contrive an answer if I wanted to. It would have been transparently ridiculous. I got nothing.
Sorry, it's okay, it's all good.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
We'll find out.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Ms. Nugent?
Yes.
Mrs. Schuman?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Sedona?
Yes.
Mr. Caraza?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Hey, I believe that concludes action items.
Hey.
Under correspondence, we received a letter from Frankfurt Township that was, I believe, included in everyone's packet and their attachment. What is that, 16-1? If there's anyone that feels inclined to comment on that, if not, feel free to read it at your leisure. Next up, miscellaneous, school board mandated training. I'm not sure if any of us require, but Ms. Schuman, somewhere in the first year of your term, there is training that you'll need to take with New Jersey school boards, and Ms. Palisek can set you up to register for that, but I'd recommend get your feet underneath you and before you try to jump straight into that training, because I believe it's conducted online now and it may be a little dry. Sorry, Kathy, if you're listening, but. So,
Unfortunately, there's no workshop this year, at least
correct,
to be physically present at.
yes.
We'll have to do
Yeah,
our,
normally training can be had at the workshop event in Atlantic City, but it's not being held this year. So that was the only item under miscellaneous. The next up is our second public comments session. Same rules apply as the first public comments. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes that will be timed. I don't believe we have anybody here in person, so I'll ask to see if we have anybody virtually attending that would like to make a public comment in this second session. Does not appear to be the case. Okay.
We're not exciting enough for an audience?
It's the summer months. So may I have a motion to close public comments?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor of closing public comments?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Any non-committee board member reports or comments? We don't have Debbie here, so. Anyone else?
I just had a question about the, so we're gonna have our meeting next month, the 17th, start at 5.
Good, yeah, so a couple things about next month's meeting.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the appropriate spot. for
No,
it.
I think this is the
Okay.
perfect time.
Okay.
We had a request to move the next month's meeting to the fourth Tuesday of the month, which is the 31st, to accommodate some needs. So I just did want to check with everyone that that was not going to raise a problem.
So the meeting will be August 31st.
August 31st rather than the 24th.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be 17th.
Excuse me, rather than the 17th if we push 2 weeks.
31st is fine. I gotta go to school next.
Any
same.
problem?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that works better, because I wouldn't have been here on the 17th.
Okay. Ms. Schuman, any problem with August 31st?
Yeah, that's fine.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't know that.
Yeah, So that was one item, was the change in date, and the other was we were going to do the walkthrough. Is that okay to change that date too?
Yes, because that's gonna be an internal, it was brought up by Mr. Klein, a desire to go through the building, a walkthrough, to become familiar with the facilities, and if someone does stop you in the produce section, you have an answer for them at Acme. And we're doing it ourselves, the public, anyone who would like to come is welcome to follow it through while we do it. It's just gonna be, it's something that used to be done years ago, and we're bringing it back just because, and August 31st is gonna be, everything should be done, so you're gonna be able to see a lot of stuff, so it'll be all shiny.
Great. So, and that's at 5?
Yes.
So, will we be opening the meeting then at 5? Not, no, but so we are, just want to reiterate then that we are opening this up to the public. Anybody from the public that would like to attend, where should they meet? Where should we meet? Can we meet in the front by the
We can meet
main?
in the front, there's gonna be no official board business conducted, so we're not going
Correct.
to violate any open public meeting acts. And we're
Right.
just really to walk through, to look at the building.
And it's not mandatory for all board members, but, if you're interested,
I would argue if somebody sells in the produce section or something, come to a meeting.
So where is everyone gonna be? At the main office in front of the building?
Yes.
That makes sense.
We just felt that rather than just the committee doing it, it would be
Yeah,
better if everyone,
appreciate that.
everyone
Yeah,
walks
I
through
wanted
it.
to,
That's
yeah.
it. Firsthand from Stefan, and I'm assuming he's gonna lead us.
No, I probably will.
You will? Well, he's gonna be with us.
I
Correct.
hope you will be.
no, great suggestion. I know we had done this in the past, but it's been a few years since,
And it's very different than when I attended. They made a few changes.
the hallways are longer in a couple
Like
places.
150 years ago.
So is committee meetings be pushed back too?
Yes, ma'am.
To the week before? Because we've got a negotiations meeting, what's.
Yes, we're gonna
Fine.
discuss Thursday,
Yeah.
personnel and finance, we're gonna discuss that.
We'll squeeze it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other, non-committee board member reports? Not, our remaining
So,
item under other business contains nothing, so I won't even go over that.
No, because
No Oprah requests this past month. So,
the correspondence, we don't have to include the emails that we just discussed?
the email from Frank.
No, that wasn't
No,
included.
No, because that's still ongoing.
Okay.
That would still be considered, otherwise we probably could have been addressed.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, but I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moves. Second, third.
All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed?
Great.
We're adjourned at,
1957.
No, 58.
No, it's
57. I don't think.
Yeah, I can't do those.
I know.
That involves.
see you in a month.
It-